You just have to be willing to put yourself out there. And once you do, the magic will begin to happen. I'm happy to use my life as an example so that others can learn. You may have to let some things go before you become successful. Success looks different on everybody, and so does the process. Some of you want success but don't want to let go of the exact thing that's in your way of obtaining success. You can't have it both ways. Welcome to Living Your Truth with Tavares. Wow, thank you. I am living in my blessing. Thank you so much. This is great. Wow. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. I am him. How is everyone doing today? What's up to everybody up top? What's up to everybody in the middle? And what's up to everybody down here around me? Nice to be back with y'all again for another episode of Living Your Truth with Tavares. This season, season 10, we've already given y'all a little taste with Love Me or Love Me Not, where we had my lady, my girl, my partner, my friend, Pureness came through all the way from Canada. She blessed us one time. We talked about all these really cool things that had to do with, yep, you love me or love me not. And that was more about, accepting yourself. And then, of course, letting people know that you accept yourself and that you love yourself and that, nothing's going to get in the way of that. But Today, we're talking about second guessing yourself and a lot of the things that are impacted by second guessing yourself. Look, I deal with this too. Everything I share with y'all, I also deal with, navigate, have experience with in some way, shape, or form. And even right now, even still now, at my age, of a particular age, of what I like to say is a very refined young man, I still second guess myself. Not sure why. It comes and goes, right? It's kind of like if I get on stage and I'm about to perform, I get the butterflies. Now, the difference in getting the butterflies is that makes me feel like I'm alive. It reminds me that I am still human and that the moment is never too big for me, nor am I ever too big for the moment. So that is how I approach my deal with second guessing myself. For those that don't know, second guessing refers to the act of doubting or questioning one's decision after they've been made, often leading to self doubt and hesitation. I've been there. I've been there. I've been there. And let me tell you, it sucks, but sometimes it's necessary. I know someone's like, what you mean it's necessary? Second guessing yourself sometimes, well, put it like this, it has allowed me to avoid some pitfalls. Now, in the moment, of course not. I did not think that. I was not operating in that way. That was not a goal of mine. But there are some times where second guessing myself lent itself to, I guess what, patience? And so that's what I was able to get from that experience. And that was just one. There was, not many of those, but there was a few. And so we also want to understand the psychological basis. This behavior is closely linked to self-doubt, self-criticism, and insecurity. All right. Individuals who frequently second guess themselves often hear a critical internal voice suggesting they don't measure up in some way. All right. They don't measure up. We've all been there. We've all been there. Maybe you're going for a promotion at work. Maybe you are looking to approach a young lady that you've been seeing around, or maybe it's vice versa. A young lady is, thinking about hollering at a dude, and which can be tough, right? I mean, there's some people who are just boom, they go in, they go for it. But there's also people who will just look and not do anything. They'll observe. Observing is fine. Okay, but if it is your intent to go and meet said person or to do said thing, I say give yourself a beat, give yourself a moment. That's what I've done. And no, don't do it because I said do it. I'm saying it can be a benefit to you to take a moment. And all I'm saying about myself is I concur, because taking a moment hasn't always been one of my strong suits. But through all the work I've been doing and through being intentional about my personal growth, I've been able to, do some things and grow and be more present. All right. It's hard to be present these days. There's so many distractions, right? Right. All right. Now, the paralysis by analysis is constantly questioning choices can lead to indecision, hindering timely and effective decision making. Been there, done that. And like I said, there's some goods, there's some bads. All right. And also, second guessing yourself also reduces confidence. Persistent self doubt can erode confidence, making future decisions more challenging. Okay. And we don't want to be all challenging when it comes to making decisions about us. Gonna pay some bills and be right back. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares.
Me on the beat.
Welcome back to Living Your Truth with Tavares. How y'all doing? Thank you for being back with me and us for another season, season 10, man. We got a lot coming up for y'all. But today we're talking about second guessing yourself. Something I've been a part of for a very long time. Not sure where and why I picked it up. I'm sure it has something to do with like, childhood how do you say, influences, right? And things of that nature, right? Uh, it can, for me, it was always, like I said before, we moved a lot. So for me, growing up and being the new kid in school, there were things that I just did not like to be a part of, and that was one of them. And I believe through a lot of those experiences, I was also able to gain, some cool things out of it, right? Um, I didn't want to be nervous anymore, so I would approach my friends at school as opposed to, these kids approaching me. And so when I think about second guessing, I think about those times. I think about not being sure of myself, only to now become the type of person who gives motivational speeches and, inspires others through my story. So it's pretty cool to be on this side of it, to be experiencing, life from this perspective. So again, it reduces confidence though. So we want to make sure that we are doing things to counteract second guessing ourselves. One of those things is creating a routine, something that you enjoy. Maybe it's a walk in the park, maybe it's, I don't know, meditation. Maybe it's just sitting and doing nothing, or just, out at the, sitting on a bench, listening to the birds, feeling the air, slightly gently touch your face. Um, and so in those spaces, we can also counteract the whole second guessing, because as we do for ourselves, we will become more confident. We'll become more confident in that space, and we'll become more confident with our decision making, thus keeping us empowered and transparent with where we are and how we feel about second guessing ourselves, right? It's not just the actual act of doing it, it's a lot of the thoughts that are behind it, the reasons behind it, where they come from. Are those generational influences? Are those childhood influences? What are those? Those are important, I believe, to unpack. I do believe that. It's very important to unpack those if you get an opportunity to, right? The psychological impacts of second guessing. Look, examine the mental health consequences associated with habitual second guessing. Mental health risks. Just that one alone gets my attention. Chronic self doubt is associated with mood swings, lower self esteem, and anxiety. And we can't forget the D word, depression. All right. Shout out to American Psychology Association for that. Now, we understand how it can impact our brain health. And this is very important to understand. Mood swings. I've been a part of those for a while. Recently, I've been able to mitigate them, and mitigate them through a continuum of wellness methods and skills and things of that nature. And I'm very happy to say things are going very well, right? And then, of course, second guessing can also have a lot to do with your ability to have great self esteem. And as I stated earlier, anxiety. So, taking time to make time will mitigate the anxiety for sure. Okay. This is why we look to counteract self doubt. And as I said earlier, you can counteract that by doing things that you love in either a routine type of a way, or rewarding yourself for making, other accomplishments, or, getting other tasks done. Right. Right. So these are really good ways to counteract that. And then, of course, use Tavares' famous mirror talk. That's one of the greatest methods of all time, right there. You go into the mirror, you talk to yourself, acknowledge yourself, see yourself. Okay? You have to see you before you want anyone else to see you. And that's okay. That is okay. I'd rather you take time to get yourself together, whatever that means to you. But I'd rather you take a moment, give yourself a beat, clear your head, love on yourself, and then get after it. Because look, if you're not going to love you, well, then you can't expect anyone else to. So let's just start with you. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. We will be right back. Today's show is brought to you by Tag Management, photography, videography, photo booth, and drone. Make sure you visit us at tagmgmt.net. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. I am him. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing today? We're talking about second guessing yourself and all the things that can impact you as well. Counterfactual thinking, engaging in that if-only scenarios. Engaging in that can have negative effects on mental health while leading to increased stress and regret. I look at my life and I do all I can to not have any regret. And I'm happy to say that I don't. And there's a lot of easy reasons why I can and probably should. But I prefer not to. I prefer not to carry that stuff around. I prefer to not second guess myself by carrying all that stuff around, right? Right. So let's let go of what no longer serves us because, again, if we're keeping that stuff with us, we're going to increase our stress levels. We're going to increase our, say, understanding or wanting to feel or to even acknowledge regret. Once we give it a label, we give it life. So let's not breathe life into regret. Let's not breathe life into stress. Let's breathe life into you and wellness. Now, overthinking. Okay, we got second guessing and overthinking, but these are all the same impacts on making a decision. Excessive rumination can cloud judgment. We know this, okay? Making it harder to arrive at a clear decision. I've been there, done that, and you have probably too. We tend to make things worse than they really are. Let's not do that. Let's just not do it. Let's look at it for what it is. Let's hear it, listen for what it is, not for what we want to hear. Someone's head shaking somewhere around this world. And they understand, yeah, listen, okay? That's very important. Because again, we don't want to ruminate over these issues. It's going to cloud our judgment. It's going to make it harder for us to understand the decisions that we are making and why. And then, of course, there's avoidance, okay? There's the fear of making wrong choices, which may lead to individuals to avoid decisions making altogether. Now, we've all done this. Like, we've all made decisions based on, like, say, you went to a party, a friend of yours that you're not getting along with, they're at the party. We're going to allow fear to probably dictate a few decisions there. One of those decisions is going to be avoidance. And we've all been a part of that. We've all seen that play out. If you've been in the same environment where it's either you and another friend beefing, or you've observed two of your friends beefing and you see how they avoid each other. So along with second guessing, you can you can do too much overthinking. And then, of course, you can find yourself avoiding people by the choices that you are allowing to lead you, AKA fear. All right. And then, of course, there's you. You want to be transparent with yourself as much as possible. Let me rephrase that. I wanted to be as transparent with myself as much as possible because I felt in that space is where I was going to get to know myself the best or better. And it comes through a lot of pitfalls, right? No one wants to get dirty with the pitfalls. Everybody wants the peaks, right? Everyone wants to be on the peak, peering down at the valley. But that's not how life works, not even a little bit. See, we have to grind for everything that we want in this life, whether it's $1 billion or $10. Either way, you're going to grind. So when it comes to second guessing yourself, why? Why? Now that is a question you may or may not want to ask yourself. See, I'm of the mind often, do it now. Do it now. Why wait? do it now. I mean, yeah, there are things that you got to wait for. No doubt about it. There's going to be things that you have to delegate so you can have more time. There's going to be things that you need to delete and get done and get off of your plate so that they are gone, so that you can make more room on your plate for the things that you want. Right? Right. See, second guessing, like I said earlier, it may have a couple of good things, right? Second guessing at the right time, it could possibly, who knows? You could avoid a car accident. There's all kinds of things. But when it comes to you, the self, me, the self, there's always an opportunity to be better. So let's take advantage of that. Talk ourselves up and in and not down and out. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. I got some bills to pay. I'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. How you doing? How y'all doing? Today we're talking about second guessing yourself, okay? The behavioral consequences. Yeah. Well, y'all know I'm a behavioral change specialist, so I could talk about this. We could go there, okay? We're going to go there a little bit. It's simple. We're going to identify how second guessing influences behavior and daily interactions. How those things look a little bit, like insecurity, indicators. Now, these are, behaviors such as over apologizing, seeking consistent validation, and social withdrawal, which can stem from underlying insecurities related to self-doubt. Now, we've all been around people like this. I think at one point in time, I was like this. In fact, I'm pretty sure. And that's the thing about second guessing. It's not taboo, right? I think and believe and understand that everyone goes through it at some stage, if not their entire life. There are some of your favorite celebrities and favorite sports women and men who often second guess themselves, I'm sure. See, I think it's a matter of probably self-acceptance, mixed in there with a little bit of self-doubt, mixed in there with maybe some, childhood influences, generational, things like that. Okay. And I think those details and those thoughts and those beliefs, they will lend themselves to self-doubt, to second guessing yourself naturally, right? Because we want so bad to be so good. But we never consider the fact that we may question ourselves along the way. I've been a part of both scenarios, right? I've been in situations where I didn't even think about what I was doing, didn't even think about it. And then, of course, I wasn't even second guessing myself. I probably should have. I probably should have, because there were some things that took place in my life where, like I said before, second guessing myself probably would have saved me some time, some pain. You get where I'm going with it. But second guessing in the way that we're talking about it here today, right now, is the kind of second guessing that's going to have you blocking your blessings, that's going to have you talking yourself out of situations instead of into opportunities, right? Right. And then we have what's called decision fatigue. Repeatedly questioning oneself can lead to mental exhaustion. That's right. Mental exhaustion. You ever get tired of being tired of yourself? Also, that type of exhaustion is going to reduce the quality of your decision making. And not just for today, but over time. So here we are second guessing ourselves. At the same time, we're exhausting ourselves. That's a bit much. But we all know people like that who suffer in silence. They don't want to say anything to anybody about anything. And that's why we're talking about second guessing yourself. I want people to understand that you are more than enough, you are worthy, and you have it together to get it done. Do all you can to not second guess yourself, because your happiness depends on it just as much as your life depends on it. I'm going to pay some bills. We'll be right back. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. Today's show is brought to you by the Body Synthesis. Fit nutrition wellness. We mitigate health risk. Go to thebodysynthesis.com. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. How y'all doing? Sorry, we had to break away real quick, take care of some technical difficulties, and get right back to you. So we made that happen. Today, we're talking about, and have been talking about, second guessing yourself, okay? Sometimes it's gonna work for you or against you. But in this instance, we're talking about not blocking your blessings, okay? Knowing that you have enough confidence to get the job done. And here's the thing. We only fail when we stop trying. So if you go for something and you don't get it, you didn't fail. It just means we have to do it again. We have to reassess our plan and our execution. That's all it means. Remember, everything that we do in life, we're practicing. All of us are. You ever go to the doctor who owns his own private what? That's right, private practice. We are all practicing here in life. We talked about insecurity indicators, decision fatigue, and then of course the impact on decision making, impaired judgment, that mental fatigue. We mentioned this a moment ago. Mental fatigue from constant second guessing. This sort of stuff results in poor decision outcomes. Again, we know some people. I was this person before. I've been this person before. None of us are immune to this. Because life, sometimes life still, throws things at you. And you have to be able to make quick decisions, right? Especially for us parents out there and grandparents. These kids are on the go, right? And we must be able to assess and make quick decisions to keep these little ones safe, right? Right. So when it comes to second guessing, sometimes we just don't have the time to do that. And we have to lean on our confidence, our self-confidence, the confidence that we cultivate within ourselves, right? Right. That's why when we talk about things like second guessing, I'm like, for what? You got the goods. Believe that you have the goods and you have the goods. What are the goods? Somebody asked me. The goods are all the nice things that you make up inside of you, all the things that you want in life, all the things that you feel like you need in life, anything, whether it's confidence, transformation, money, understanding, education, whatever it is, you already have what you need to obtain that inside of you. That is what I call the goods, right? All right, stick with me. Impaired judgment, we talked about that. Procrastination, one of the biggest I have dealt with, still do. And that's why I had to develop a mindset like, do it now. If I don't need to wait, do it now. Just do it. Because I have a tendency to, let my thoughts take me away, and having ADHD at this age in my life, and it being somewhat severe, or at least I think it is. But then again, I don't have anything to really measure it to. So to me, it feels severe, but that's neither here nor there right now. The point is that I can easily forget about things. And so my procrastination, again, I have to do it now to avoid that, because procrastination is simply doubting one's choices, which can lead to delays in decision making, the process. I've been a part of that too, but I feel like now more so than ever, it may be a combination between, it could just be being overwhelmed along with the ADHD. But even the ADHD, check it out. And this ties in well with what we're talking about in second guessing. Even the ADHD, as much of a bad rap it gets, in my case, it's also lent itself to my creativity. My body of work, the things that I've been able to do with my time that will live on long after I'm in a whole other time dimension, is simply put amazing. And that's just to me, right? And so after being diagnosed just over 2 years and like 8 months ago, and then of course working with Dr. Janice Helfin. What up, Dr. Janice? She's my EMDR specialist. She's helped me understand that even in my case with ADHD, where second guessing has ran rampant in my brain for a long time, I'm still able to look at it and point to some pretty beautiful moments. And hey, When you're able to do that, that second guessing stuff, it begins to melt away. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. We will be right back.
Every time you try to change the mood, every time you get it in abundance, I was trying to fuck you in the mood. Tell myself that I'm sorry. I was trying to make it good. Every time you get it, you just lose it.
Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. How y'all doing? Thank you so much for being here with us again for another, not only great season, but another great episode. Today, it's been all about second guessing yourself, right? We talked about a couple things, but right now we're going to shift a little bit, just a little bit. Talk about mind shifts. In this space, we can adopt new perspectives, which can help overcome self-doubt. All right. It can also promote personal growth. I'm all about that. So let's be more of that. Remember, your mindset shifts. You're in complete control of these shifts. Also, self-awareness. We understand that recognizing patterns of overthinking. Look, by doing this, we help ourselves address, and then by addressing these, we can reduce the second guessing tendencies. Okay, maybe you bought some pants, you kind of put them on. They look good at the store, but then you get home, you put them on at home, and I don't know. You think they don't look as good because they're not in the store. Again, the more self-aware we are, the more we'll be like, you know what? These look fine just the way they are. I'm going to rock these. Okay. When we're able to do that, we're able to increase confidence, which allows us, we can implement these strategies, which can lead to more decisive and effective decision making. That's what we want. We want to increase our confidence, right? And then, of course, one of my favorite R words of all time, resilience. This is a place where I've had to thrive at. Okay. We grew up in survival mode. So resilience, we were all about that. Building self-assurance helps in recovering from setbacks and maintaining decision-making momentum, right? We've all had to deal with that. Let's not let that negative vibration come in and kill our momentum. You're better than that. We're better than that. See, it's also about an attitude, right? And how we take an approach to second guessing. Because the person that we're second guessing is ourselves. So if we see ourselves in a particular way, then perhaps we will want to live up to that particular way. And this is where the self-portrait comes in. Who do you want to be? Who do you see when you look at you? Who would you like to see when you hear your name? These are things that you could use with and by yourself, along with Tavares' famous mirror talk. These things really, really do help. And I really want to drive that home because I know a lot of people who second guess themselves in the car on the way to work, on the way home from work, on the way to a date, on the way to the library, like all these things. Get out of your head. It's all good. Get out of your head. It's not even all that bad. Okay, let's not make it worse than it is. You are worth so much more than that. Okay. I want to thank everybody who continues to tune in from all around the world. Thank you to all 220,000 and plus listeners. We appreciate y'all. I want to say shout out to my whole team. And if you want to email us, we are at livingyourtruthpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to say hello, we're on Facebook and Instagram at Living Your Truth Podcast. We are also on X at Living Your Truth Podcast. And we're also on TikTok at Living Your Truth Podcast. So we want to thank every single person that continues to support us. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode. I know I enjoyed delivering it to y'all, as I always do. All right. And in the meantime, that's right. Love yourself and each other and live your truth. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.